Hello, g'day and welcome to another video. Today is going to be a special one because today's Daddy and Daughter Day. Mum and the little man are out at daycare and working for the man. So today it's just me and my little girl, and we're just going to do some things around the yard, and you can come along with us and do all these fun things. So we're going to water the garden. It might be a bit hot. We'll put a hat on her and hopefully she goes all right. And we're going to make today a simple passata. I was watching some videos on YouTube just then. Do yourself a favor and go see Orsara Recipes, Orsara, I'm pretty sure, recipes. Really authentic Italian man, and he goes through how to make a nice passata sauce, but his is much more difficult, much more effort. Anyway, this is going to be an easy one. We're literally just going to take the tops off, chop them in half, chuck them in some trays, put them in the oven. He only puts basil in his. We're going to put some mixed herbs, garlic, cloves, and then we're not going to push them through. So in the recipe that he does, they separate all the juice inside, all the guts, and all the skins and seeds and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cook it until sort of all the juices start to evaporate, starts to really black off, and then put it in a food processor. So it's really, really simple. The traditional Italians are probably going to scoff, but it's really easy, especially when you get a little baby watching you do it. So join us, and I might put her in a little seat and see how long. She just had a bottle 45 minutes ago, so she might get sleepy soon. We'll see. Anyway, join us and see how we go making a passata sauce. So first thing is we're just going to separate them all. Separate them, pull the green bits off them, and then chop them in half. So as you can see, I've got different types of tomatoes. I've got the little red, I forget what they're called, but they're like just the normal red tomato, truss maybe? I can't remember what they're called, but they're just normal little red tomatoes, not cherries. And then I've got the little yellow cherries, and then I've got the beef steaks. But we've been eating them in salads. We can't eat them quick enough, so you pick a big bunch of them, and then you got to do something with them. So we've already done a big batch of sauces. There is a heap in the freezer already. If you put them in the fridge, they don't last as long, so you just put them in the freezer. And so, yeah, we've got heaps at the moment, but there are just so many tomatoes. I've got probably maybe a dozen tomato plants, and so they're creating so many tomatoes. Anyway. All right, now to chuck them in the tray, check early. There's no rhyme or reason to this. Just you chop them in half so they can start to dry out and the insides aren't so mushy. Now, we don't separate all the guts and everything, like all the skins. You can buy little machines that you just wind them through and it separates the nice juicy insides with all the skins and seeds, but we don't do that. Lazy. Now we just chop them in half, chuck them in. I might chop the green bit, the cores out a bit as well. You don't want to find any chunky bits, do you? All right, so all the tomatoes have been either chopped up or squashed into the tray. I'm going to chop up the garlic, put a little bit of mixed herbs on it, and some salt, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to chuck it in the oven. I've got it on at 180 degrees because, to be honest, I'm not a very good cook, and I put everything on at 180 degrees, so it could be right. So then I do all that, put the garlic in there. I might do a whole clove, seeing how many tomatoes there are, and just a sprinkle of herbs. Chuck it in the oven. This one looks like she's getting tired. So I might put it down for bed, and I'll put that in the oven, and we'll have a look when it's all cooked. All right, she's in there. Bit of salt, full clove of garlic, full bulb of garlic, some mixed herbs. She's ready to go. Chuck her in the oven. All right, let's have a go. We're at the halfway mark. Woo! Pull her out. You'll start to see the tomatoes browning and all the beautiful juices coming out of it. Look at that. That is perfect. What we do is we just turn it, mix it up a bit. Look at all the juices. And get some other tomatoes browned off. The juices will start to evaporate. And then we'll blend it up in a food processor. Look at all the juices coming out of it. Yum. All right, chuck it in and go again. Rightio, so we're out here now with the little girl. Now I'm going to try and keep her in the shade as much as possible. It's very warm out here at the moment, but I'll do a quick tour as I'm watering the garden with my little baby. This is the pumpkin patch here. I think I learned my lesson over the last 2 years. They just go crazy. They grow so quick and so large that you got to just keep control of them, taking over every other plant. So I've got a little squash in here, but she got overgrown pretty quickly. And as you can see, the plants are a little bit wilted at the moment. It's been a couple of, or 3 days since I've watered them last. So I'm going to give them a good drink today while the passata's cooking inside. But this is me and Eden. And over here, we've got the sweet potato slips that we planted in the garden in one of the other videos. You can see that one over there. It's already fallen over. I'm going to start burying the vines so the new slips grow out. That's the Brussels sprouts, but they did not go. The Chinese cabbage, too hot for them. So I didn't think they were going to go very far. So I'll be pulling those out and just letting this whole bed be sweet potatoes. I've got the onion seeds over here. Finally, their seeds are popping out of their little flowers. So I'll be very excited to hook into them soon. Make a quick little video on that. The seeds look so cool. When you buy them at the store, they're like fully black, and I did not know that that's what colour they actually are. They're just black seeds. I thought they were dyed for some reason. This is some flowering plants that my wife put in. Nice little flowers. I don't know what type they are. I've got a lot of flowering plants over there as well. This is all the tomato plants. I don't water these because they don't like getting wet leaves. They can get diseased apparently. So I've got a watering system on the ground there. So that's what we'll do. Turn them on later. This is the lettuce bed from a couple of videos ago that I planted all the lettuce seeds in. They get a bit too warm. So the lettuce haven't really popped up. There's a couple of rockets have popped up, but I'll replant these lettuces shortly. Right, so these are, I'm pretty sure that's a green capsicum. We've got some basil in with the tomatoes. We've got eggplant over here, but they're getting eaten by 28 spot lady beetles. So I'm going to have to spray this bed and do some weeding. There's grasses popping up everywhere, but they're pickling cucumbers at the back. They're pretty well gone, the end of them. They get really big and they turn yellow. So probably at the arse end of that. Got some dill in here. They pop up everywhere. We don't plant the dill plants. They just pop up everywhere. So we've got the Hungarian wax chilies. They're growing beautifully. Bunch of herbs down the front. More dill. And all the corn plants in here. So I haven't watered these in a couple of days. They're starting to dry out. But my wife's been picking corn every day for our little man. So the corn is going beautifully. I'm going to give this all a very good water when I put Eden back inside. This is the carrot plants. Now, as you know from the previous video, we've already got all the seeds from them, so they're ready to come out. They're done. And these are a couple of flower beds that my wife is growing. She loves having the flowers here. We've got a couple of berries. I don't know what berry that is. We got it from a friend. So we put that in there. We got some flowering plants. And down the front here, we've got chilies. Now I'm very excited about these. I want to do a video on that. My brother's attempting to grow some chilies as well. He's having some struggles. So we're both trying to learn from each other on how to grow these chilies. But they look beautiful. Anyway, so this is the garden, a little tour. I'll give you some close-ups on all the fruit trees, and all the plants. But this is little Edie girl and I going around watering all our garden. So I think it's about time. The posada's been in there cooking away. So we'll get this little girl out of the sun and we'll go in there and we'll check on our posada. I reckon it's about ready to pull out of the oven. See you shortly. There you go. That's the finished product after it's been in the oven twice, probably half an hour to 45 minutes each. I'm going to drain a fair bit of that juice out, and then I'm going to start scooping it into the blender. So you can see there's plenty of juice in that. You don't need it all. So I'm going to get rid of some of that juice. Go from there. All right, so this next bit, the blender bit, might get a little bit loud. So I'm going to put Eden in the next room, and we're going to start scooping it in. Be right back. All right, let's start blending, baby. I probably got out, I want to say 75% of the moisture, water. There is still some in the bottom, but I won't be searching for it at the end. You know, I won't be tipping it in here. So by the end of the day, I probably got rid of 80% of the moisture that was in there. I might do 2 batches just so it's not over full. Get a little cloth and just, there's a little air hole here. That's not messy at all. I might just fill her up. Fill her up. Oof, you can smell the garlic and the herbs. And that beautiful tomato. That is so good. There you have it. That is beautiful. I'm going to start just putting them in jars. Nice clean jars. So that's nice and easy. Only a couple of ingredients, whatever floats your boat. Chuck all the tomatoes, cut them up and put them in the oven. Don't really need to cut them, but it just helps them cook all the moisture out of it. Blend her up and put her in. So this one here, you will find little tiny bits of skin and seeds and stuff like that when you're cooking with it, but that doesn't bother me, and they're so small, it's insignificant. I cooked a slow cook the other day, little lamb hocks, and put a jar of the tomato sauce in it with a beef stock. Mwah, beautiful. So these are just amazing. That is nice and thick. The more juice you pull out of it, the thicker it gets. Not all the way to the brim. Leave a little gap. With anything, when it freezes, it gets a little bigger. With anything, when it freezes, it increases in size, so you don't want to fill it all the way to the brim. Look at that, nice and thick. I reckon this is the best one I've made yet, actually, because it's thicker than the others. Well, there you have it. Thank you for joining me for Daddy and Daughter Day with me and my little baby. We made some passata, and we put these in the oven. You can boil it last year. I just boiled them in a big pot till all the moisture comes out of it, put all whatever herbs you want in it, and then blend it all up. Other people use a little machine where you separate all the goodness and all the skins and seeds, but it doesn't really bother me much. And we went out there, we watered the gardens, showed you around all the little plants that I've got at the moment, but there's plenty more to come. So thanks for joining me for Daddy and Daughter Day. Get down there, like, subscribe, and join me on the next one. See you later.